So probably of the many memories I have of growing up, if there was one person that I have the greatest quantity of memories, it was when Randy was coming over to the house to visit Dad, or we were bumping into one another at the magic table in New York City. I would, I think, with little doubt, characterize Randy in the later years of Dad's New York Times, time in New York, as Dad's best friend. And typically, I'd be visiting Dad on a Sunday afternoon. Invariably, 60% of the times, Randy would be calling. So Dad and Randy, over the years, had a very consistent and robust correspondence. And so we've asked Randy to just take 10 minutes to kind of share some reflections and things in his memories of his experience with Dad that he think we'd find interesting.
Well, folks, I'm just going to assume that maybe you're hearing me. I have in my hands here a copy of the newest annotated Alice by Martin Gardner, and I highly recommend it. It is expanded and updated by Mark Burstein, and wonderful job, wonderful job. It's bigger, much bigger than the first annotated Alice that I saw, and you're.
Yeah. Did we?
I tell you that I've got a little bit of a complaint here. See, I have one of the Metropolitan Museum of Art's daily calendars with a different illustration for every day. And this is an illustration that came in for yesterday. This is a colored Tennille drawing for Alice in Wonderland. And I don't really think much of it. I was much more fond of the black and white drawings of Tennille, particularly the ones that got published. And I understand there's a conversation going on that I'm not getting through to you. Oh, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. A few things about my personal connection with dear Martin. And one of them was, I think, the one I appreciated most was I would get calls from him. And a lot of what Martin would call me about would be some sort of so-called psychic wonder that was currently being advertised on the internet. Now, Martin didn't share much with the internet. He rather feared the thing, I think, and rightly so, as much as I fear it. And he didn't make use of it that I know of very extensively. But when he would call me and he would tell me about the latest thing that was come up with by some so-called, and that was a very valuable connection I made with him. And I tried to let him know, sending him a copy of it, what exactly happened. Any questions that I can answer for you folks?
Do you have questions?
Yes, any question?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask and relay. So does anyone have some questions?
His most favorite memory.
Okay.
Randy, connection problem, it says again.
The question that was asked is, what would be one of your most favorite memories of Dad?
Oh, the favorite memory of Martin Gardner. Public library by some sort of an appointment that someone set for me. I don't know. It might have been L. Bosberg Lions, which you folks probably wouldn't know about. But it's such a delight that from then on, anytime that I picked up the phone, I could expect that perhaps it was Mark giving me a call. He never talked to me on the internet, never by Skype or any such thing. I think that intimidated him somewhat. But the telephone, he was a delight, and he would constantly uh, pause in his conversation and say, "Oh, I know you're busy." I was never too busy to talk to dear Martin. Very, very valued connection that I had in my life to the outside world. And I miss him dearly.
Another question. We're going for another one. Come on. What? Oh, in the corner. Yes, Colin.
What was, in Randy's opinion, Martin's contribution to the skeptical movement?
That sounds like
the skeptical movement. I think I heard that.
Yes. What was his contribution?
Which time have we got?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was sort of a. I don't believe in any gods, but if I had a god, it would probably be Martin Gardner. He added so much to my existence, and the information that I was able to come up with was almost single-handedly responsible for all of the 10 books, 11th coming shortly. I'm sure you're all anticipating that, aren't you? That's going to be called Magician in the Laboratory. Martin never got to know the contents of that, and won't now, of course. But everything that I've done, everything that I've learned, every connection, a lovely person, and someone whose memory is very, very dear to me. Don't let me hear anyone say.
I think we should cut it. Yeah. So I'm waiting for it to come back. Randy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this was an earlier question that I asked that I thought, and I'll preface it by saying, I very rarely have any memories of Dad really getting mad, but I'm wondering if you have, other than that one you mentioned previously, can remember just something that irked him so much that maybe you were the person who took the fall out, or what context or whatever.
You're frozen on the screen. Oh, she just disappeared.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? I want the secret. I want all the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Internet connection problem. I know that. Jim, you there?
Yep. I'm here. Repeat your question. Do you want me to? Should I repeat the question?
I have no idea what the question is.
Yeah. So it had to do with, maybe share with us another anecdote of maybe a time and something that you recollect just really irked Dad in the context, because he was a pretty gentle person. Now, very different in writing, but there were still some things that really got his dander, and I suspect that you were able to observe or participate in that.
Yes, that's true. I did hear you that time, Jim. Thank you. I must say that Martin was seriously preoccupied with the damage that the so-called psychics, prognosticators, and astrologers and whatnot were doing to the populace of the world, not only of the United States of America, of course. It's all over the world, as we all know. And he was very perturbed at that, and he would. Prognosticator or healer, particularly, and the so-called healers, the faith healers in the churches, the Pentecostal churches and whatnot, he particularly despised them.
All right. Any other question? Oh, we have one more question, Randy. Yes.
Could you ask him about the rise of fallacy in human discourse?
Someone has asked for you to comment on the rise of fallacy and human discourse.
All I heard was fallacy and human discourse. What came before that?
To talk about the rise of fallacy and human discourse.
Oh, I don't know whether there's a real rise in it, Jim. I think it's just changed in character and in depth because of the internet and the availability of this misinformation sent out to people all over the world. It's just as bad as it ever was, and it's somewhat worse for the presence of the internet because it's very much easier for the fakers out there to reach the public via the internet. So I don't know if there's been that much change in of the populace of the world.
All right. So let's have a round of applause for Randy.